The lights of the elegant Hotel Aurora gradually dim as the city prepares to sleep, but for María Elena Vázquez, 28, the night is just beginning. With silent, determined steps, she crosses the grand lobby of Italian marble, pushing her cleaning cart, utterly invisible to the eyes of the guests still lingering in the hotel's exclusive bar, where a single glass of champagne costs more than she earns in a week. María Elena is not just another night shift worker in the sprawling ecosystem of the five-star hotel. She is an extraordinary woman who has turned invisibility into her superpower, a skill she has honed over the past 3 years. In that time, she has cleaned the most luxurious rooms in Madrid, silently observing the lives of people who would never notice her presence, like a benevolent ghost who restores order and beauty before the world awakens. Her navy blue uniform, though meticulously maintained and ironed every night before work, cannot hide the deep fatigue living in her expressive brown eyes. Each night, between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., she becomes the silent keeper of intimate secrets, whispered dreams, and vulnerable moments of complete strangers. She has witnessed celebrations, betrayals, reconciliations, and goodbyes that would alter the course of entire lives. She works the night shift not by choice, but out of urgent necessity, a need that defines every aspect of her existence. During the daylight hours, when the rest of the world begins its routine, María Elena assumes another equally demanding role, caring for her 16-year-old younger sister, Isabella, who suffers from a rare degenerative illness requiring constant, specialized medical care. The experimental medications are exorbitantly expensive, and the family's limited insurance barely covers the most basic treatments. Room 1205, Presidential Suite, she murmurs to herself as she meticulously checks her nightly task list, written in her small, neat handwriting. It's her first stop of this endless night, and the most intimidating. The legendary presidential suite of Hotel Aurora is a sanctuary of uncompromising luxury. 200 square meters of pure elegance, adorned with genuine European antiques, original artworks, and a breathtaking panoramic view of Madrid's illuminated Gran Via. The nightly rate reaches €2,000, more than 3 months of her full salary. As the elevator slowly ascends to the upper floors of the hotel, María Elena allows herself a moment of reflection on her nocturnal routine. Every room she cleans tells a completely different story, like chapters of novels she will never finish reading. Some rooms smell intensely of expensive French perfume and Dom Pérignon champagne, others retain the lingering scent of salty tears and profound loneliness. She has silently witnessed couples celebrating golden wedding anniversaries, billionaire executives sealing deals that will affect thousands of workers, and aristocratic families fighting bitterly over inheritances large enough to purchase entire cities. Her mobile phone, an outdated model from years ago, vibrates urgently in her pocket with a text message that chills her blood. Isabella's experimental meds have gone up another €300 this month. Doctors say keeping the treatment going is crucial. Can you find a way to get the extra money? The message is from her mother, Carmen, who also works tirelessly at 2 different jobs, cleaning offices at dawn and caring for the elderly in the afternoons. María Elena exhales deeply, feeling the familiar weight of responsibility crushing her tired shoulders. She's already working the maximum hours legally permitted by her contract, and extra shifts are nearly impossible to secure in a hotel where competition among staff is fierce. She's considered taking a 3rd job, but when would she sleep? When would she care for Isabella? When would she remember that she, too, is a human being with dreams and aspirations? The elevator finally stops on the 12th floor with a soft musical chime, like a church bell. The doors open silently, revealing a hallway carpeted with a refined elegance María Elena has learned to appreciate aesthetically, though she knows she'll never possess it. Every design element, from the crystal sconces to the gilded moldings, represents a world completely foreign to her daily reality. She walks with determination toward the presidential suite, where approximately 3 hours of meticulous, detailed work await. She must scrub every surface to a gleaming shine, change Egyptian cotton sheets that cost more than her monthly salary, and restore the flawless perfection millionaire guests expect to find. She has no idea that tonight, for the first time in her 3 years of professional invisibility, someone will truly see her, not as a cleaning lady, but as the extraordinary woman she really is. As she picks up the wine bottles and straightens the silverware on the marble table, María Elena notices a man sitting by the window, staring at his own shadow reflected in the glass. He doesn't notice her at first. He seems absorbed, or perhaps exhausted, like someone carrying a sorrow that's been expertly hidden. She clears her throat gently, not meaning to intrude. He turns, dark eyes marked by faint but intense shadows. There's a flicker of surprise on his face, not at her presence, but as if he's finally becoming aware of his surroundings. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt," she says, her voice soft, almost inaudible. "I'm just finishing the cleaning." "No, please, go on. It's my mind making more mess than this table." His voice is calm, with a slight accent that she can't quite place, elegant but unpretentious. He offers a faint, weary smile, the kind that reveals more about a man than words ever could. Maria Elena nods, returning to her work with practiced precision, careful not to disturb him. Yet, unlike other wealthy guests who ignore her presence completely, this man seems to watch her not with judgment, but with genuine interest. "Have you worked here long?" he asks after a few minutes of comfortable silence. 3 years, sir," she replies automatically, focusing on wiping the Italian glass coffee table as she maintains a respectful distance. "You must have seen some truly fascinating things. Luxury hotels are like miniature universes, wouldn't you agree? Every room contains a different story. Every guest brings their own world with them." The philosophical tone catches her off guard. In 3 years of night shifts, no one had ever asked for her thoughts, let alone about human nature or what she might have observed. The rich usually treated her like part of the furniture, present, but utterly irrelevant. "Yes, sir. Every room is very different," she says cautiously, choosing her words carefully. The man closes his laptop completely and looks at her with genuine curiosity, the kind she hasn't encountered in years. "What's your name?" "Maria Elena, sir," she replies, feeling something unfamiliar stir inside her upon hearing her own name spoken by someone who actually seems to care. "Maria Elena," he repeats softly, as if committing it to memory. "And what do you do during the daylight hours? Do you rest, or is there something else that requires your time?" The question catches her off balance. Why would a wealthy guest, someone from an entirely different world, care about the mundane details of her daily life? "I take care of my younger sister, sir. She's ill," she answers simply, but the emotion behind her words is unmistakable. He nods, understanding settling into his gaze, real understanding, not the superficial sympathy she's used to. "That must be incredibly hard," he says gently, with a tone that carries genuine respect. "To work all night physically, and then spend the day emotionally caring for someone. You must have no time for yourself." Maria Elena feels a sudden tightness in her chest. It's been so long since anyone truly acknowledged her sacrifice that his kind words land like a bomb on an open wound. "It's just what needs to be done," she answers, her voice steady with the quiet dignity she's perfected over the years. "When someone you love needs you, you do what you have to." The man watches her for a while, quietly observing her deliberate movements, the care she puts into every small task. There's something about her, a silent strength, that draws him in. He recognizes it because, once, he had needed that same strength to survive. As Maria Elena continues working with her usual precision, Alessandro finds himself utterly incapable of focusing on the financial documents in front of him. There's something about this woman's silent resolve that drags him backward through time, into memories he usually keeps buried under layers of business success, public recognition, and material wealth. "You know what?" he says suddenly, closing his laptop for good and pushing the papers aside. "I honestly think that international meeting can wait a little longer." Maria Elena stops immediately, visibly concerned. "Did I do something wrong, sir? Am I being too loud with my work?" "No, absolutely not." Alessandro rises smoothly and walks toward the panoramic window, gazing out at the glowing city of Madrid. It's been a long time since I had a real conversation with someone authentic." His confession is so unexpected that Maria Elena doesn't know how to respond. She watches him as he silently contemplates the city, and for the first time since they met, she sees the truth. Despite all the wealth and success that surrounds him, there's a deep, unmistakable loneliness in the way he carries himself. I also come from a working-class family. Very much like yours, he says softly, still facing the window. My father was a mechanic in a small industrial town near Milan. My mother cleaned corporate offices during the night, just like you do now. Maria Elena stops working completely, caught off guard by the unexpected similarity in their stories. When I was 12, my father died in a tragic accident at the garage. My mother, her name was Francesca, took on 3 different jobs to keep my younger sister Julia and me in school. Alessandro turns slowly, and Maria Elena sees a raw vulnerability in his deep blue eyes. I used to sell newspapers at the train station every morning before class. I know what it feels like to be invisible to people who have money. How? Maria Elena begins to ask, then abruptly stops, unsure if she should be asking personal questions to a man like him. How did I get here? Alessandro offers a faint smile tinged with loss. Full scholarships, back-breaking work, and a massive amount of luck at the right moments. I studied industrial engineering in Milan, then got an MBA in London, and eventually built a tech company from scratch. But, he pauses meaningfully. Professional and financial success comes with a high emotional cost. I've completely lost touch with the person I once was. Maria Elena listens closely, feeling a surprising connection. She understands the kind of personal sacrifice he speaks of, because she lives it every single day. Your sister, Julia? She lives in Australia now, with her husband and their 3 kids. We talk on the phone once a month, if I'm lucky. My mother, Francesca, died 5 years ago of cancer. I was stuck in a crucial business meeting in New York when she passed. I arrived 2 full days late for her funeral. The silence that follows is heavy with emotion, but not uncomfortable. Maria Elena instinctively understands the crushing weight of family responsibility, and Alessandro can see in her expressive eyes that she does not judge him. She simply understands. You know what's the most painfully ironic part of my whole story? Alessandro sits back down on the Italian leather sofa, quietly inviting her to pause her work and sit, too. Now I have all the money my family desperately needed when I was a child, but I no longer have a family to share it with. I spend most nights alone in hotels like this one, obsessively working, trying to fill a hole that money simply cannot reach. Maria Elena gently sits at the edge of an elegant chair, keeping a respectful distance but making it clear she's fully present. Do you know what I saw when you walked in tonight? Alessandro asks, his voice suddenly intense. I saw my mother, Francesca. The same silent dignity. The same unbreakable strength. That same quiet power that keeps the entire world turning while no one notices or gives it credit. His words strike something deep in Maria Elena's heart. For the first time in countless years, she feels truly seen, not as a cleaning employee, not as someone surviving, but as the extraordinary woman she really is. I wanted to be a teacher, Maria Elena says after a long moment of deep reflection, as if unearthing a treasure long lost. I was passionate about reading classic novels, writing original stories, creating entire worlds with words. I even won first place in a regional short story contest in high school. Alessandro leans forward, genuinely interested. What story did you write to win? Maria Elena smiles for the first time in the conversation, a smile that transforms her tired face. It was about a nocturnal librarian who discovered that books came to life after midnight, and she had to help the characters solve their problems before dawn. That sounds absolutely extraordinary, Alessandro says with genuine admiration. What happened to that beautiful dream? Adulthood, Maria Elena replies with a sad smile but no self-pity. My father left the family when Isabella was born with medical complications. My mother needed help desperately, and as the eldest daughter, I left university after my first year to work full-time. Alessandro listens, painfully aware of the similarity to his own sacrifices. Do you ever still write? Sometimes, Maria Elena admits. Short stories for Isabella, to cheer her up when she's feeling particularly low. But nothing serious or professional. Could, could you tell me one of those stories you tell her? Alessandro asks with genuine curiosity. Maria Elena looks completely surprised. You really mean it? Completely, Alessandro responds. I haven't heard a real heartfelt story in years, one spoken from the heart. Hesitating at first, Maria Elena begins telling a tale she recently created for Isabella about a young woman who worked as an official night guardian of stars, carefully ensuring they didn't go out so sick children in hospitals could make powerful wishes that truly came true. It's a simple yet profoundly beautiful story, full of genuine hope and pure magic. Alessandro listens, completely captivated, not just by the enchanting story, but by the extraordinary woman narrating it. He sees the passion lighting up her brown eyes as she speaks, the way her hands move expressively to bring the characters to life, and the natural beauty that emerges when she forgets to remain invisible and allows her true self to shine. That was absolutely extraordinary, he says when she finishes. You have a real, authentic artistic gift. Maria Elena blushes intensely. It's just a silly story I made up for a sick child. No, Alessandro says, decisively walking to his sleek leather briefcase. It's so much more than that. It's pure hope transformed into genuine art. It proves you have a talent the world desperately needs. He retrieves an elegant envelope and returns to sit across from her. Maria Elena, I need to tell you something very important. My company isn't just corporate tech, I also have a personal foundation that supports emerging artists and writers. Especially those who, like you, have true talent but lack opportunities. Maria Elena stares, completely confused. I don't understand what you mean exactly. What I mean is, what if I could help you return to your university studies? What if I could personally ensure Isabella receives the best medical treatment available, without you having to choose painfully between caring for her and following your own dreams? Those words float in the night like an unreal possibility, too beautiful to believe. Maria Elena instinctively shakes her head. Mr. Alessandro, that's extraordinarily generous, but I can't accept charity. It's not charity at all, he says firmly. It's a smart investment. An investment in genuine talent, in real human potential, in someone who truly deserves the chance to shine and share her gifts with the world. Maria Elena feels the room spin around her slightly. Why me? Why tonight, of all nights? Alessandro takes a deep breath and places the envelope into her trembling hands. Because you reminded me who I used to be, before success changed me. Because your sister Isabella deserves someone fighting for her artistic dreams, not only her medical survival. And because, he pauses emotional, because it's been a long time since I met someone so genuinely good and authentic. Maria Elena gazes at the envelope in her hands, which tremble slightly. What is it exactly? Open it, he replies softly. With trembling hands, Maria Elena opens the envelope. Inside is a handwritten note, and something that takes her breath away, a check for 50,000 euros. This is impossible, she whispers, staring at the check as if it might vanish. Read the note, Alessandro prompts gently. With a broken voice, Maria Elena reads aloud. To Maria Elena, the night guardian of stars. This is not an end, but a beginning. Use this to care for Isabella and resume your studies. Your talent deserves a chance, and your kindness deserves to be rewarded. With admiration and respect, Alessandro Marchetti. P.S. I've contacted Dr. Ramirez at the university hospital. He is the top specialist for Isabella's condition, and he's expecting your call. Tears run down Maria Elena's cheeks. I can't accept this. It's too much. Alessandro kneels before her. Look at me. She lifts her gaze, tears still falling. 3 years ago, when my company really took off, I vowed that if I ever had the chance to change the life of someone like my mother, I would. You are giving me that chance. Don't take it away. But why me? She asks again, voice trembling. Why tonight? Alessandro smiles, and for the first time since they met, she sees genuine peace in his eyes. Because you saved me, too. I come to Madrid every month for business and always stay at this hotel. But tonight, for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone. You reminded me that real success isn't measured in numbers, but in the lives we touch. María Elena wipes her tears with the back of her hand. What should I do? First, call Dr. Ramirez tomorrow. Second, think about which university you'd like to resume your studies at. Third, keep writing those stories. The world needs more guardians of stars. And you? What do you gain from this? She asks. Alessandro walks to the window where dawn is beginning to bathe Madrid in golden light. I get back something I thought I lost forever, faith in human kindness. And perhaps, if you allow me, a friendship that could help me become the person I used to be. María Elena stands slowly, carefully tucking the check and note into her pocket. Mr. Alessandro. Just Alessandro, please. Alessandro, I don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me. Just promise me you'll chase your dreams with the same determination you've used to care for your sister. María Elena extends her hand. Alessandro takes it, a handshake sealing a silent pact between two souls who met at the perfect moment. I promise, she says. I won't waste this opportunity. As the sun rises fully, María Elena finishes cleaning the suite, but she is no longer the same woman who walked in 6 hours earlier. It's the dawn of a new life, not just for her, but for Isabella, and perhaps for Alessandro, who has rediscovered the transformative power of genuine generosity. María Elena walks slowly toward her small apartment in the Carabanchel neighborhood, but every step feels completely different from all the walks she's taken after countless nights of work. Alessandro's envelope rests carefully tucked inside her purse, as if she's carrying a treasure that might vanish if not protected properly. Her hands still tremble slightly as she recalls the exact moment she opened it inside the presidential suite. Inside were two things that would forever change the course of her life: a handwritten letter in Alessandro's elegant penmanship, and a bank check for an amount equal to 2 full years of her current salary. But more than the money, it was the words in the letter that moved her to tears. María Elena, your talent deserves to bloom, your sister deserves to dream, and you deserve to remember that you, too, have the right to be happy. When she reaches her 5-story walk-up building, María Elena climbs the stairs with a renewed energy she hasn't felt in years. Each step represents a new possibility, each landing brings her closer to a future she barely dares to imagine. As she opens the door to her apartment, she finds her mother, Carmen, preparing breakfast for Isabella, who is sitting at the small kitchen table, trying to eat while fighting the morning nausea caused by her medication. How was work last night, my love? Carmen asks, immediately noticing something different in her daughter's expression. María Elena carefully sits next to Isabella and takes her delicate hands in hers. Mom, Isabella, I need to tell you something absolutely extraordinary that happened tonight. Isabella looks up, her eyes sparkling with genuine curiosity. Despite her illness, she still carries the vibrant spirit of a teenager who dreams of painting pictures that might one day hang in major museums. What happened, sis? You look different. I met someone who wants to help us, María Elena says gently, knowing she needs to explain without creating false hope. A hotel guest who runs a foundation for artists and writers. He wants me to go back to university and finish my degree in literature. Carmen drops the spoon she was using to serve breakfast. How is that even possible? What does he want in return? Nothing, Mom. Absolutely nothing. He says it's an investment in real human potential. María Elena carefully pulls out Alessandro's letter and reads it aloud, sharing each word that speaks of hope, talent, and the importance of not letting economic hardship destroy genuine dreams. Isabella begins to cry softly, but the tears are ones of pure joy. Does this mean you'll be able to write professionally? That you can finally become the literature teacher you always wanted to be? It means we're going to try, María Elena replies, embracing her sister with infinite tenderness. And it also means you'll have access to the best doctors who specialize in your condition. Alessandro has contacts at advanced research hospitals. Carmen sits heavily in a chair, overwhelmed by the magnitude of this shift. "Are you sure this is real? It's not some cruel joke." Maria Elena shows her the check, and Carmen covers her mouth with her hands when she sees the amount. "It's real, Mom. Completely real. Tonight, after 3 years of being invisible, someone finally saw me. Not as a cleaning woman, but as the person I truly am." The rest of the morning passes in a mix of disbelief, joyful tears, and careful planning. Maria Elena calls the hotel to request reduced hours, explaining that she needs time to return to her studies. Her supervisor, surprised by the unusual request, agrees after hearing the unwavering determination in her voice. While Isabella rests, Maria Elena sits at her small desk and begins writing a thank you letter to Alessandro. It isn't just a courtesy, it's a promise. A promise that she won't waste this extraordinary opportunity, that she will honor the faith he placed in her by becoming the best version of herself. As dusk falls and the last rays of daylight filter through the cheap curtains of her apartment, Maria Elena allows herself to dream for the first time in years. She dreams of university classrooms, of writing books that inspire others, of watching Isabella paint in a professional studio. She dreams of a future where survival is not the only goal, where there is also space for beauty, for art, and for personal fulfillment. 2 weeks after the encounter that changed her life, Maria Elena accompanies Isabella to La Paz University Hospital, one of the most prestigious medical centers in Madrid. The appointment with Dr. Ramirez, a specialist in rare degenerative diseases, was made possible thanks to the medical connections Alessandro facilitated through his foundation. The contrast between this experience and their previous medical visits is absolutely extraordinary. Instead of waiting for hours in overcrowded public clinics, they are welcomed immediately into an elegant private office, where Dr. Ramirez reviews Isabella's medical records with attentive, personalized care. "Miss Isabella," the doctor says with a warm smile, "I've reviewed all your previous test results and consulted with specialist colleagues in the US and Switzerland. I believe we have treatment options far more promising than those explored until now." Isabella straightens in her chair, her eyes gleaming with a hope Maria Elena hasn't seen in months. "What kind of options, doctor?" "There's an experimental treatment showing extraordinary results in cases similar to yours," he explains. "It's not a definitive cure, but it could significantly slow the progression of the disease and greatly improve your quality of life. The treatment involves a combination of advanced gene therapy and cutting-edge medications." Carmen, who came with them, asks in a trembling voice, "How much would this treatment cost?" Thanks to Mr. Marchetti's foundation, Isabella has been accepted into a pilot program that covers all expenses. She will receive world-class medical care at absolutely no financial cost to the family. Maria Elena feels tears of gratitude stream down her cheeks. 4 years, she has carried the unbearable weight of knowing better treatments existed, but were completely out of reach for them. The feeling of finally being able to offer Isabella the care she deserves is indescribable. "When could we start?" Maria Elena asks. "Next week," says the doctor. "Isabella will need to come to the hospital 3 times a week for the first 2 months. After that, we'll gradually reduce the frequency." It's important to understand that this treatment focuses not only on physical symptoms but also on emotional well-being and creative aspirations. Isabella leans forward, excited. "Does that mean I'll still be able to paint?" "Not only will you be able to paint," Dr. Ramirez smiles, "but we've coordinated with the hospital's therapeutic art program. You'll have access to professional studios and instructors who specialize in working with young artists facing medical challenges. Your art can become an integral part of your healing process." After the appointment, the 3 women walk through the hospital hallways in emotional silence. Isabella is the one to finally break it. "Sister, do you realize this means we can both chase our dreams at the same time?" Maria Elena hugs her tightly. "It means we can be more than survivors. We can be creators, artists, women who contribute to the world with beauty and knowledge." That night, Maria Elena writes in her journal for the first time in years. "Today I learned that miracles don't always arrive wrapped in divine light. Sometimes, they come in the form of a tired man in a hotel suite, who sees in you what you had forgotten even existed. The campus of the Complutense University of Madrid stretches out before Maria Elena like familiar ground transformed. She walks along the tree-lined paths she once knew well, back when she was a 19-year-old student filled with literary dreams. Now, at 28, she returns with a completely different perspective, the maturity of someone who has lived, fought, and sacrificed, yet also with a determination she never had in her youth. The Faculty of Philology rises before her, its windows gleaming under the morning sun. Maria Elena carries a folder with all the necessary documents to resume her studies: academic transcripts, letters of recommendation, and the financial support from Alessandro's foundation that makes this moment possible. "Miss Vasquez," says Dr. Mendoza, the dean of the faculty, as she reviews her academic file, "I see you had excellent grades during your first year. What motivated you to return after so long?" Maria Elena chooses her words carefully. "Life taught me that literature isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Over the years, I've seen how stories can heal, inspire, and give hope. I want to be part of that magic." "How do you plan to balance your studies with your family responsibilities?" "My younger sister is now receiving specialized medical treatment, and my mother has more support. For the first time in years, I can finally dedicate part of my life to my own dreams, without compromising my family's well-being." Dr. Mendoza smiles with genuine approval. "I admire your determination. We've reviewed your application for the Spanish literature program with a focus on contemporary narrative. I believe your life experiences will give you a unique perspective in your studies." On her first day of class, Maria Elena sits in the same lecture hall she left behind a decade ago. Her classmates are significantly younger, 20-year-olds passionately discussing literary theory with the energy of those who have yet to face life's harshest realities. At first, Maria Elena feels out of place, as if she's intruding in a world that no longer belongs to her. But when the professor, Dr. Garcia, begins to speak about literature as a mirror of the human experience, Maria Elena finds her voice. Her contributions to the discussions carry a depth that surprises both her peers and her professor. She speaks about how Garcia Marquez's characters reflect the resilience of working-class women, how Carmen Laforet's prose captures the claustrophobia of economic survival. "Miss Vasquez," says Dr. Garcia after one particularly insightful comment, "would you stay after class for a moment?" Maria Elena approaches his desk, slightly nervous. "Did I say something inappropriate?" "Quite the opposite," he replies. "Your insights into literature are extraordinarily mature and authentic. I'd like to invite you to join our advanced research seminar. It's usually reserved for final-year students, but I believe you have much to contribute." The following weeks are a delicate but manageable balancing act. Maria Elena attends classes in the mornings, studies at the library in the afternoons, and works part-time at the hotel during the evenings. Her grades are excellent, and little by little, she begins forming friendships with classmates who initially saw her as a curiosity. One afternoon, while working on an essay titled "The Representation of the Working Class in Contemporary Spanish Literature," Maria Elena receives a message from Alessandro. "I've been following your academic progress through the foundation. I'm proud to hear you're thriving. Would you be available for a phone call this week?" Maria Elena smiles, remembering the man who saw in her what she had forgotten herself. Her return to university is more than an educational opportunity, it's a complete transformation of her identity. From survivor to creator. From invisible to authentic voice. 6 months after their initial encounter in the presidential suite, Maria Elena finds herself once again at the Hotel Aurora, but this time as a special guest. Alessandro has returned to Madrid for a series of business meetings and has specifically asked to meet with her to hear firsthand about the progress his generosity made possible. The hotel lobby looks exactly the same, but Maria Elena feels like a completely different person. She wears a simple yet elegant dress, bought with her first earnings as a literature tutor for high school students. Her posture is straighter, her eyes shine with a confidence she didn't have 6 months ago. "Maria Elena." Alessandro rises from the couch where he had been waiting, his smile warm and genuine. "You look radiant. Completely transformed." I feel transformed, she replies, accepting his invitation to sit. Thanks to you, I've remembered who I truly am. Alessandro orders tea for them both and leans forward with sincere interest. Tell me everything. How are your studies going? How is Isabella? Maria Elena shares the news with enthusiasm. Her excellent grades, her acceptance into the advanced research program, and especially Isabella's medical progress. The doctors are amazed by her response to treatment. Not only has her condition stabilized, but she's regained energy we hadn't seen in years. She's creating extraordinary paintings in the hospital's therapeutic art program. And you? Are you writing? I'm working on my first professional short story, Maria Elena says with pride. It's about a woman who cleans hotel rooms at night and finds stories in each one. My professor believes it has potential for publication. Alessandro nods with deep satisfaction. I knew you had true talent. I saw it that night when you told me the story about the Guardian of Stars. Can I ask you something personal? Maria Elena says. Why did you do it? Why risk so much money on a complete stranger? Alessandro gazes into his teacup before answering. Because you reminded me why I started working so hard in the first place. It wasn't for money or status, it was so I could help people like my mother. People like you. When I saw you that night, I saw the woman my mother could have become if someone had given her a chance. Have you found more balance in your own life? Yes. Alessandro smiles with a calm he didn't have before. I've reduced my work hours, hired more competent staff, and started focusing more on the philanthropic side of my company. Helping people like you has given me a purpose that financial success alone could never provide. Maria Elena feels a deep warmth for this man who not only changed her life, but apparently transformed his own in the process. You know what's the most incredible thing? Now I see hope in places where I used to see only barriers. That's exactly what true talent does, Alessandro replies. It transforms ordinary reality into something extraordinary. They spend the next 2 hours sharing stories, dreams, and reflections about how deeply their lives have intersected. Alessandro speaks of plans to expand the foundation, and Maria Elena shares her dream of someday teaching literature at a university. Will we stay in touch? Maria Elena asks as they prepare to part. I hope so, Alessandro replies. I'd like to witness everything you're destined to achieve. They say goodbye with a hug that represents more than gratitude. It's the embrace of a genuine friendship born from a deep human connection that transcended class and circumstance. 1 year after the encounter that forever changed their lives, Maria Elena stands in the main auditorium of Complutense University, preparing for the final presentation of her thesis. Narratives of Resistance, the voice of the working woman in contemporary Spanish literature. Isabella, now 17 and significantly stronger thanks to her ongoing treatment, sits in the front row beside Carmen and Alessandro, who has traveled from Milan specifically to witness this crucial moment. Isabella holds a portfolio of her latest paintings, works that have been selected for exhibition in the Youth Gallery at the Museo Reina Sofia. Honorable Committee, Maria Elena begins, her voice clear and steady. This research was born from the belief that the most powerful stories often come from the most silenced experiences. Working women are not just characters in literature, they are the invisible authors of human resilience. Over the next 40 minutes, Maria Elena delivers a thesis that blends academic rigor with authentic personal experience. She speaks of how literature can give voice to those society prefers to keep invisible, how survival stories become stories of hope when they find artistic expression. The jury listens in complete silence, moved not just by the quality of her research but by the passion with which she presents it. When she finishes, the silence that follows is filled with admiration. Miss Vasquez, says the head of the committee, this is one of the most emotional and academically solid theses we've reviewed in years. Congratulations on your academic excellence. Maria Elena graduates magna cum laude, with a thesis recommended for publication. But more than academic success, what matters most is the personal transformation she has undergone. After the ceremony, The small family gathers at a nearby restaurant to celebrate. Alessandro raises his glass to Maria Elena, who taught us that true talent always finds a way to bloom, and to Isabella, whose art reminds us that beauty can emerge from the most unexpected places. To Alessandro, replies Maria Elena, who saw in a night cleaner what she herself had forgotten still existed. Isabella, radiant with health and creativity, adds, to second chances, and to those who believe in our dreams even when we stop believing in them ourselves. Carmen, with tears of joy in her eyes, simply says, to the family we choose, and to the family that chooses us. 6 months later, Maria Elena receives her first job offer as an assistant literature professor at a prestigious private university. Isabella has been accepted into Madrid's most selective art school with a full scholarship that recognizes both her talent and her inspiring personal journey. True to his word, Alessandro has expanded his foundation to include specific programs for working women who want to return to school. Maria Elena has become the coordinator of the Foundation's program in Spain, helping other women find their own voices and opportunities. In a letter Maria Elena writes to Alessandro on the first anniversary of their meeting, she reflects, "You taught me that miracles don't always arrive as divine events. Sometimes, they come in the form of a tired man in a hotel suite, who decides to see someone invisible and remind her that we all deserve to shine." Alessandro responds, "You taught me that true success isn't measured in profits, but in lives transformed. Every time I see your progress, I remember why it's worth working so hard." The story concludes with Maria Elena, now 30, teaching her first class as a full-time professor. Her classroom includes students of all ages and backgrounds, especially working women who have decided to pursue their educational dreams later in life. Literature, Maria Elena tells her students, is not a privilege of the elite. It's a fundamental human right. Each of you has a story the world needs to hear. Isabella, now a rising young artist, has painted a mural that hangs in Maria Elena's classroom. A woman pushing a cleaning cart that gradually transforms into a woman holding a book, symbolizing the transformation possible when someone believes in our potential. In the final scene, Maria Elena walks home after her first day of teaching, passing by the Hotel Aurora. She pauses for a moment, gazing at the building that once symbolized her invisibility, but now represents the place where she was truly seen for the first time. Her phone buzzes with a message from Alessandro. "I just read about your appointment as a professor. I knew this day would come. The world needs more teachers like you." Maria Elena smiles, puts away her phone, and continues walking toward her new future, carrying the certainty that every person has the power to transform their life, when someone believes in them, and more importantly, when they learn to believe in themselves. The story ends with a sentence Maria Elena writes in her journal that night. "Today I learned that happy endings are not destinations, they're beginnings. They are the moment when you stop surviving and start living."